iRacing is one of the top racing games in the entire world, and I see so many questions constantly asked. How do I get started? What cars do I pick? How do I install the game? Everything. So what we've done is we've scoured the internet and we found 21 of the most asked questions about iRacing, and we're going to answer all of them right now. Let's do it. So let's start with question number 1, and that is, how does iRacing work? iRacing is a video game and an online racing platform. There's lots of cars, tracks, and series to race, laser scan tracks, and really well-designed cars, and a really good multiplayer system that runs 24/7. So whenever you want, in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, you can jump online, cut some practice laps, and race against real-life people. When do iRacing seasons, weeks, and tracks change? So iRacing divides its official series into 4 annual seasons of 12 weeks. Each week has a new track for each series. Tracks rotate every week starting on Thursday. It's like 10 a.m. Australia time, so I think it's like Monday night, midnight GMT, the track swap. And the 4 seasons roughly follow the real world season. So season 1 is like December to February, season 2 is March to June, season 3 is June to September, and season 4 is September to December. So at the end of each 12 weeks, there's a 13th week where there's a bunch of fun racing, which is not serious, and iRacing often releases new content like new cars, tracks, and changes to the game. How much does iRacing cost and where to buy it? So iRacing runs on a subscription model. It's basically like playing WoW but for cars, and a single month is generally worth $13. You can buy iRacing on the iRacing website. Once your membership is valid, you can download the iRacing UI, and from there you can install the full game with all the content and get racing. Can iRacing run on my computer or laptop? In comparison to other titles, iRacing is relatively light on hardware. It's been going since like 2008, so it should run on a toaster, but if you want to beef up the graphics and get it looking amazing, you could grab a stronger computer. The minimum requirements for running iRacing are having Windows 10 64-bit, a 4-core processor, 16GB of RAM, a graphics card with 4GB of dedicated VRAM, and at least 25 gigs of storage space. My one tip with this, and I honestly don't understand how computers work, so you can ignore it, but iRacing is a little bit more CPU focused than a lot of the other games I play, so I would focus on getting a good CPU over the graphics card. Will iRacing come to consoles? Probably not. This is one of those games that I think will always be PC only. iRacing as an organisation though also works on a number of console titles, including the World of Outlaws dirt racing game, and iRacing is also working on an official NASCAR game which will be launched in 2025, and that'll be on PC and console. Which cars and tracks to buy on iRacing? So one major question that gets asked all the time is, what do I buy? There's so many choices. There is a website called iRacing Reports, which I recommend. You can see the top courses and top cars which are used. For example, the top road courses are Spa, Daytona, Road America, Watkins Glen, and Sebring. And some of the top cars that are used are the GT3 cars, the Formula 3 cars, and the LMDH car. What I would recommend though is to buy what you like. If you really like Formula 1 cars, I would buy the Mercedes F1 car. If you like rally, pick up the Subaru Impreza. Race what you like and you'll enjoy it. How to start iRacing? Well, to start iRacing, you should sign up for a month and you'll be placed in the Rookie MX5 series. It only features cars and tracks that come with the subscription, so you don't need to worry about buying any DLC or anything. And you can do a few races in the MX5, and that should give you a pretty good idea if you like the game or if you hate it, I guess. How to get out of iRacing rookies. So when you start in iRacing, everyone is a rookie and you need to do 4 races in the beginner series and get a high enough safety rating in order to progress from the rookie license. And my recommendation is to not crash. If you can avoid any incident points in your rookie races, you'll have a chance of escaping rookies pretty quickly. And often, starting at the back is a good idea, and making sure to not get any off tracks is the key. What is M.P.R? So M.P.R stands for Minimum Participation Requirement. It's the same thing that gets you out of rookies, and it'll get you out of every license grade in the game. So it means that you need to do 4 races in each license grade to progress to the next one. So if you're a Class D driver, you need to do 4 races in a Class D series, like Ferrari Fixed or Formula 4. They're both Class D series. And that will mean you hit your minimum participation requirement, your M.P.R, to upgrade to the next license. Then once you hit 3.0 safety rating, you'll automatically upgrade at the end of the season. Or if you hit 4.0 safety rating, you'll upgrade straight away without having to wait. How to start from the pits in iRacing. So this is on the topic of being safe and potentially getting out of your rookies. Often starting from the pits is a way to avoid turn 1 crashes in iRacing. To do so, you can just wait until the countdown finishes for the race start, and then you can click grid, and then you can click missed start at the top of the screen, and you'll spawn in the pit lane and you can go from there. That's probably the best way to do it. How to move the black box and UI in iRacing. If you want to move the position of the black box, press Alt-K. That will kind of light up all the little black boxes and everything on your screen, and you can drag them around and move them where you want. You can press Control Page Up and Control Page Down to make them bigger and smaller as well. This is useful for photographs and stuff. You can make the iRacing logo really small if you'd like. The black box is what we refer to down the bottom right of the screen generally. There are multiple screens, so you can press the F1, F2, F3 keys and you can scroll through them, or you can click the arrows on either side to scroll as well. When to shift in iRacing. So for starters, I recommend to get fast shifts, run as few driving aids as possible. Things like auto blip and auto clutch can sometimes get in the way of good shifts, upshifts or downshifts, it depends. But ultimately, every car is different and every car has a different shift point. For example, a car like the V8 supercar, you want to rev the thing to the end of its life right before it hits the limiter, and then you want to pull a gear up. Whilst the Porsche Cup car, pretty sure at the moment you want to shift as soon as the lights start blinking blue. So you'll practice in each car and you'll learn when to shift in each one. When to change tyres in iRacing. So this one's tricky for road courses. It depends. A lot of the time in GT and LMDH racing, you mostly won't want to take tyres. In endurance racing, if you're doing hour stints, if you're draining fuel tanks, you'll probably want to take tyres. But for these short sprint races, often you'll want to take no tyres, or you might want to take 2 tyres. It depends. I would honestly look at the forums and chat to some other people racing your car and see what they're doing. Every car is different though. Often in oval racing, you want to pit for tyres every time down the pit lane. And if you're racing the V8 supercar, for example, you want to pit every time you go down the pit lane. If you go down the pit lane, change tyres every time. It's always worth it. Are iRacing servers down? Not at the moment, and you can go to status.iracing.com to check. What are iRacing divisions? So divisions exist based on the iRating of each driver, which is like a skill rating, and it gives you a little division to race in for points in each series. So you might not be fast enough to win the entire GT3 Sprint series outright, but you could win your division, which is against similarly rated drivers. Otherwise, divisions make no difference to how the races are run or, splits are allocated or anything. Where are iRacing replays saved? So this is in your documents, like My Documents iRacing folder. Also your paint files, your lap time files, and your setup files are saved there as well. Can iRacing be played offline? Well, sort of, but also not really. A cheeky one though, if you didn't know, is the test drive feature. So when iRacing goes down for maintenance, you can load up testdrive.iracing.com and you can download any piece of content you have installed, even if you don't own it, but it is only available during maintenance. So keep that in mind. How do iRacing points work? So you earn points based on the SOF or the strength of field of each race. So basically, for each race, iRacing will average out everyone's iRating to determine how strong the grid is. The stronger the grid, the more points you get. So this means you could come 10th in a grid against really, really good drivers, and you could get the same amount of points as if you won a race against maybe some not so good drivers. Where is iRacing based? So iRacing is based in Boston, Massachusetts, in America. That's where they're based. And if you want to get on their good side, make sure to remind them whenever the Boston sporting teams lose. They also have servers in East and West Coast America. They have a server in Europe, Japan, Australia, and Brazil. Does iRacing have rally? Well, yes, but actually no, it depends. It doesn't have full rally, but it does have rally cross and it does have dirt cars. And it does have a single hill climb track called Mount Washington, which is the only point-to-point track in the game. Do you get paid for playing iRacing? No, not unless you're a pro esports driver, but you can get some free iRacing credits for playing the game. If you do at least 8 weeks of a single series in iRacing, you will earn some credits. So it's not a huge amount, it's not going to break the bank, but it doesn't hurt, I guess. So that's 21 of the most common questions we see on the internet about iRacing. Did we miss anything? Are there any other questions you think we should have answered? Feel free to let us know in the comments. Otherwise, if you found this useful, you can like the video and subscribe to Overtake for more sim racing videos. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.